to W&L Review. Today we will be reviewing two movies, I, Robot and When a Stranger Calls.
Okay, so I, Robot has to do with robots and artificial intelligence. Basically, robots are given the duty to take care of humans and do whatever they tell them to. So they have to have the artificial intelligence so they know how to do this. But the guy who invented these robots invented one that was more human-like. It could have emotions, and it was actually programmed to be able to do all these things. And it was made to look like this guy was murdered. Well, actually, it looked like he did himself in to the police, but one of the police officers knew it was a robot. He kind of had a personal vendetta with robots. And he was investigating and he found this robot who was able to have emotions. And so he was like, this shouldn't be able to happen. It shouldn't be possible. And so if this isn't possible, it could be very well possible that because this robot doesn't follow the other ways of the robots, maybe he was able to murder because he was different. Because one of the rules that robots have to follow is do not harm humans, no matter what. But if this robot was able to have emotions, and it already wasn't like all the others, maybe it didn't have those rules programmed into it. So, he went after this robot. Well, he's following this robot. He eventually finds out that no, this robot is good. And it's these evil guys who end up turning the robots evil to attack humans and all, and destroy the older models of the robots that don't have this, I guess you could call it a virus, to want to kill humans. But, to sum it up, basically, it all gets resolved, and the robot who was, thought to have murdered this guy ended up being a good robot that helped save the day. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cool, awesome kind of sci-fi movie, and I think that you guys would enjoy it. There's a bit of language and some violence, so if you don't want to see or hear those things, you might skip this movie. But in general, I think you guys should give it a shot. It's pretty long. I think it's almost 3 hours.
I can't remember.
Might be 2.5 or so. But however long it is, it's a really good movie that you guys need to watch. With that being said, I'll let my mom tell you what she thought about the movie.
I, Robot is a good movie. It has Will Smith, who plays the cop, and like Leslie said, it does take place. Will Smith's character has kind of a bitterness for the robots. He doesn't like robots. He doesn't like these new robots, but he doesn't like robots, period. But much less than this newer model. And he just has this bad taste in his mouth kind of attitude towards them. And this scientist guy ends up, they find him dead, and they he has a video projection of himself, and the detective is asking him questions, and he can't answer, but only like yes or no, or only certain questions can he answer, because he's already pre-programmed this before he died. He made these robots, but he made one like Leslie said that has feelings, and the robots are supposed to follow directions and do what they're told. They are not supposed to, however, cause harm to humans, and there's like three different rules. Anyway, as it goes on, Sunny is the name of the robot that has feelings, and he first gets commissioned to go back in to have this virus injected into him to where he will not have feelings anymore and he will be deprogrammed. And I can't remember exactly how he ends up escaping
Yeah.
from that situation, but he got out, and then the detective finds out this guy isn't the bad guy. You know, this robot isn't the bad guy. It's this other dude who's a human who has ordered these other robots to attack. And in fact, this Will Smith's character gets attacked a couple of times in different areas. One at his office, and one or at his house, and one at in the freeway.
And when he was at the scientist's house.
Oh, that's right. And so 3 different times. And so, you know, he's starting to put, you know, things together and be like, okay, wait a minute. Why would Sunny do this? Sunny wouldn't, you know. And so then he realizes it's this guy who was the co-founder in the company, or something like that.
Yeah.
He was a bigwig anyway. And so he ends up realizing it's this guy. And then the whole the ending of the movie is really interesting. Sunny is let loose, and he is a free robot. Basically, he has the right to be free and live his life as a free person, but not a person.
Yeah.
A robot. It is very science fiction-y, very action-packed. It does have language, it does have violence, so if you're not wanting to watch that kind of stuff, then steer clear of that. It is, I would say that it is a good movie, all in all. Even if you are not a big fan of action movies, I'm kind of on the fence. You know, when you have a boy, sometimes you have a boy that likes action movies, and so when my son was younger, he liked action movies. So, you know, I kind of watched movies like that with him. So I would say that this is definitely action packed. It does have the scare factor. It does scare the pants off you. It's not bloody or anything. Not that I can recall any bloodiness to it, but it does have violence. So, you know, take with that what you will, and, you know, make a decision on whether or not you want to watch it or not. I would go ahead and I would maybe give it a shot and try. It's an older movie. Not entirely sure how old, but it is an older movie. So we found it on, I think, Netflix, wasn't it? No?
I don't know what channel it was, but it was like some other channel. A free channel.
Well, anyways, it is a good movie, so if you get a chance to watch it, I would watch it. I don't know what else to say. So with that, we will go to the next movie, which is When a Stranger Calls.
When a Stranger Calls, basically how it goes is this girl is babysitting overnight for this couple. Their children are supposedly asleep and sick, so they don't want her to bother the kids. But basically, she keeps on getting a stranger who is calling, and it's really creepy. Eventually, it finds out that he is stalking her. She thinks, at first, it's the couple's oldest son, who lives in the guest house whenever he visits. So at first she thinks, okay, maybe it's him. So she goes out and checks the guest house. It's not him. He's not there. Nobody's in the house, even though she could have swore she saw the lights come on and a shadow by the curtain. But nobody's there. It basically finds out that it's like this murderer guy, and she is freaking out. He gets in the house. She at first thought it might have been the housemaid, but it wasn't her either. She wasn't there. She had already left. She was gone. Then she ended up being killed by the guy. But she is trying to get away from this guy. She had called the police, but where she is like, it's a really fancy house, but it's out in the forest. So it takes the cops.
Remote area, yeah.
Yeah, so it takes the cops like an hour or so to get there. By the time she calls and she has sound proof that there is this guy, because she had called before, but the police are like, do you have any proof that he is there? Well, no. And so they said that you have to keep him on the phone for at least 1 minute so we can track the call, find out where he is, have proof of this guy being there. Because most of the time he only would stay on the phone for maybe 30 seconds at most. Most of the time, shorter amount of time than that. Eventually, she's able to get him on the phone for a solid minute, and the cops are able to come out. But like I said, it takes them forever to come out. So she's trying to get away from this guy. She eventually wakes up the kids. They all get out, and the police arrive, but what happens is, like, she ended up seeing herself running around at one point in a house, and it was like, wait a minute, and it was really confusing, and I don't remember at the end if they caught the actual murderer guy. I don't think so. I think it ended up like being all in her head or something, and it was really confusing, because then it was like, okay, where did the calls come from? So it was a good suspenseful movie, in the aspect that it was suspenseful, it was scary, but the ending was bad.
Yeah.
So it was like, that just kind of ruined the film. When the ending was as bad as it was like you were going somewhere, and then you just kind of threw the ending together. Like, oh, it was all in her head. But there's a lot of questions, like the calls, okay, what, the calls were all in her head? I guess?
Yeah.
It just didn't really make sense. And her friend had come over, and she ended up dying, so it's like, okay, if this is all in her head, what, is she the murderer? What's going on here? So, I liked it up until the ending. But with that being said, I'll let my mom tell you what she thought about it.
Well, When a Stranger Calls, if that sounds familiar, it's because this is a remake of, this has been a remake of 100 times over. Now, I think I've seen one of the other renditions of this movie. Back in the 70s, they had a movie, and it was exactly the same name, or similar name, When a Stranger Calls. And the same premise. But I don't remember at the end of the movie whether it was such an open-ended kind of situation where, oh, this was basically all in her head and all that. But this all got started because of a real case. And there was a girl who was babysitting in the 1950s, 57, I think. Anyway, and she was babysitting, and there was this guy who kind of thought she was a cutie patootie, but he was kind of an oddball. He was just kind of strange, and he kept calling her, and would say things, and, do you know where the kids are? Do you know how the kid, all this kind of stuff. And at one point, she had called either one of her family members or called the cops, and they just took it as she was just a scared young girl, this was her first time doing a babysitting job by herself overnight. Needless to say, the next day they found the girl. She was not alive. Now I don't remember in the real story whether the children made it out or not, but they have in the movie renditions of this. They have the children have not made it. They have been hurt, but this one it went along pretty good till about 45 minutes to the end of the movie, and you're going, I don't understand. I mean, like my daughter said, you have a great premise to a movie, and anybody who's ever babysat, if you get a phone call and you don't know the person, and they keep calling you, or even if they don't, and it's late at night or whatever, you're gonna get the stuffing scared out of you. I know. I used to babysit. It's not. No. So the premise behind it was scary. The fact that this girl was babysitting kids she didn't know in the middle of nowhere and was getting calls. Those things, I mean, all that added up to a very scary movie. But, it was all coming together like a very scary movie. And then the ending was just like, huh? So, if you guys want to watch it, feel free. I don't remember what channel it was on. I want to say it was
Tubi?
It might have been Tubi, but I don't think it was either Tubi or Peacock. Might have been Peacock. I don't know, but anyway, it's fairly new. It's like been out maybe in the last few years. Like I said, it starts off really good, but the ending is kind of so. You may watch it and you may totally enjoy it. You may be completely like, hey, this is a really good movie. I don't know what those girls were talking about. But then again, you may be completely watch it and be like, I see exactly what they were talking about. Each to their own. If you have seen both of these movies and you like them or you don't like them or whatever, leave us a comment in the description box below. Comments below. Well, you knew what I meant. Anyway, leave a comment down there. And, or, if you have a suggestion of a TV show or a movie you want us to review, let us know about it. We're trying to do more longer videos so that you guys have more meat to the review of what we're reviewing. Anyways, guys, if you liked what we had to say, and if you didn't, even if you didn't, give us a thumbs up and let us know what you think. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah.
Huge shout out to Marion, also known here on YouTube as Life Unboxed, for joining our Patreon. If you guys are interested, the link's in the description box.
And with that, guys, we'll see you later, and we'll talk to you next week.